me is my 1968 Fastback. This little Volkswagen has been good to me this past year. Turned out to be a very, very dependable, somewhat daily driver. I drive it all over the place. It's the earlier body style before they changed it in, I believe, 1970, where they lengthened the nose. The car has that sleeker, earlier lines to it. For the most part, it's in really good shape. There's a little bit of what looks like repaint or respray on this side, which tells me that it had probably been hit in the door. Somebody bunked that somehow and they had to repaint it. Again, chrome trim is always coming off. Interior is in good shape. It's mostly original, though it's actually in really good shape for being almost 50 years old. The stuffing in the driver's seat is collapsed. What's your problem, huh? What's your problem? I see you. I know you're there. It's got a little bit of floor rot. I went underneath the pedals there and pulled those all apart and went to adjust them because the pedals were falling this way towards me onto the floor. And it turned out there was a big rusty hole underneath the floor there where the pedals stopped, which bolts down to the floor, had nothing to attach to anymore. So I cut out a hole about 8 inches by 8 inches and welded in a new piece of metal and put a new stop in there, and that seems to be working out pretty good. Right, Skeeter? Yeah? You know about Volkswagens, the older style Volkswagens, that is. The trunk is up front, and up there I have a typical Volkswagen survival kit, which is your distributor, caps, rotors, ignition coil, points, condensers, just the stuff you might need, as well as some duct tape, because you never know. I went on a long trip over the weekend to a friend's house. Lives about an hour from here, and I didn't want to break down, and I was having trouble with the battery charging, so I took a battery charger extension cord with me. Of course, there's a jack. I've got my 4-way tire iron in there as well. But everything I need to fix this car, with the exception of my other toolbox, which actually fits in there very, very well, is all here. There's the front end. I put some eyebrows on there, just for styling. Thought it looked kind of neat. The bumper appears to be sagging on one side, so there's probably, yeah, there's a loose bolt. Got a loose bolt in there. I'm gonna have to find that and fix that. Chrome wheels, which I think was an aftermarket edition, so somebody did change that out. Around the back, you notice it's getting a little noisier. What do you think might be under there? Probably the engine, right? Nope, trunk number 2, which is full of all kinds of junk. The engine actually lives under the floor in the trunk. So when Volkswagen built this, they built it to be very utilitarian. This was designed to be the Beetle 2.0 and answer the things that people always needed from the earlier Beetle, which was more trunk space. The whole chassis is about a foot wider, like the Carmen Ghia is. So there's a lot more seating area inside. There's a lot more seating area. I showed before. I mean, there's just a ton of space. Even with the seat all the way back is where I've got it. There's still enough room back there for your legs, so you can still have a passenger in there. In my Beetle, when I back that seat all the way back, it just about touches the back seat. So this works out a little bit better. Nice solid door sound when you close them. You don't hear that from cars anymore. It's in really good shape. I had to replace the master cylinder on it shortly after I got it. It turned out the master cylinder had some leaks, and it was also the wrong style. It was a Beetle master cylinder, and they had it hooked up all wrong. They probably could have made it work if they hooked it up right, but they didn't. And it was leaking anyway, so I got a proper Type-3 one. The only major rust issue on this car is right there, which is, as I understand, a pretty typical rusty area on a Type-3. So I've got to replace a lower rocker, or at least a portion of it, maybe cut some pieces out of it. It looks to be a little chipped and stuff, and it's got some, no, you know what, that's rust. This all needs to be cut away, and I welded a new one, as well as the bottom of the fender. Got a couple holes in it. There's the gas flapper. Up inside of there, there's supposed to be a rubber piece that I'm missing. I have to find one of them. Man, this thing is sturdy from sitting in a dusty garage. Didn't take very long. I just dusted it off last week. Alright. Wiper switch. I don't have wipers, so if it does rain, I don't drive it. But this cowl, these cowl vents, they have a tendency to leak anyway. If I get like 2 drops of rain on a windshield, I get 2 gallons of water on the floor. Strange thing, but this car leaks, and it does leak a lot, and it's from the cowl vents. There's a gasket that goes around them that holds the breather box up underneath them. And when those gaskets get old, they rot, of course, and when this fills up with water, it'll leak around the outside of it instead of down through the drain holes. It's supposed to be mostly original glass. You can see the Volkswagen logos on them. There it is. Windshield's been replaced, which is probably why it's fogging in the corners, because it wasn't an original, it's a cheap replacement. More Volkswagen logos on there. Everybody needs one of those. That's pretty typical, especially if you don't know how to take care of this thing. Yes, it does leak a little bit of oil, which is pretty standard on a Volkswagen. You expect that from these older ones. But all in all, it's in great shape. I've been very happy with it.